So, if you haven't noticed, Puppet Combo recently put out a trailer for the definitive version of Nun Massacre, and we thought we'd give our thoughts on the trailer, because this has presented us with some new developments we don't think we would have been able to see coming. So just to recap, the trailer starts out with the text, Puppet Combo video unfolding out from the bottom left corner, and then cuts to a shot of a wheelchair in front of a tree on a cliff with a voice saying,
"Tonight, you will be stalked by an unrelenting terror, desperate to spill blood."
As choir music plays, and the Nun Massacre logo pops up on screen. Then cuts to a shot of the boarding school looking up with a tree off to the left with the voice saying,
"Don't let fear consume you when you confront the face of evil."
It then cuts to someone with white clothes stained with blood turning on a flashlight, and when we see what appears to be the very same person walking through what appears to be an underground space, or a basement of some sort, it then quickly cuts to someone with dark eyes and glasses, looking to their left, then to their right. We then cut back to the previous shot and see the flashlight in the camera, and it instantly cuts to the nun, and her jump scare sound plays. It then cuts to the same font that says new storylines, and succeeding that, we see a first-person perspective of someone going down a corridor of some sort with Talking Ben style wallpaper. We then see a first-person perspective of someone going through the back rooms, and then it cuts to another shot of a decrepit corridor that's probably underground. We then see the same text say new nuns. We then see a selection for the original nun, a selection option for the factory, the back rooms, then it cuts to a shot of another map with funhouse wallpaper and static on the screen in proper worn out VHS style. Then, as it goes down, it pans to a clown and what appears to be a classroom, then cuts to another really derelict looking hall of some sort, and the player is jump scared by what seems to be a clown, with the player subsequently turning and running in the other direction. It then abruptly cuts to a portion of the game's release poster, which then fades into black, and a text scroll set on a picture of trees and overcast weather with a voice narrating.
To be a relaxing camping trip with my friends, sitting around the campfire, drinking some beers, but we heard something in the woods, watching us.
It then abruptly cuts to a first-person view of the player in the back rooms, then it cuts to black. So one thing we definitely like about the trailer is that it definitely gives off the vibe of an 80s or maybe even early 90s low-budget movie with the most minimal of budgets given to it, not only because of the fact that its editing makes it look rushed, chaotic, and slapped together, but also because of the grindhouse voice in the background presenting the game to the watcher. Not only this, but we think the trailer introduces new storylines effectively, but not demonstrating too much to the point where it wouldn't surprise people and leave them without any sense of foreboding when they play the game. We also really like the addition of new storylines into the game, but we're not really open to having Mrs. McDonald's case fully closed for the time being, unless that's definitively for the purposes of introducing enough new plots into the game. We also like the fact that not only are these Outlast Asylum type settings being implemented, but you know us, if there's anything we're more obviously obsequiously sycophantic towards, it's the backrooms, so how could we not obsess over this portion of the game? For some reason, this reminded us a little bit of the repetitive early 2010 survival games that looked like they were all made in the same cloning facility with a different texture pack to differentiate them. And to those of you who think we're talking about those games pejoratively, that couldn't be further from the truth, because we now look at them with nostalgia because they were the bedrocks of our introductions into horror gaming. But it also reminded us of the era slightly after that, when the major releases of the Outlast franchise came out, and the Alan Wakes and the Dead Islands and the Evil Withins. And not only this, but level 0 of the backrooms with a nun-like entity in it would be absolutely insane, because on top of the ambiance and eeriness of the backrooms, we also have the looming threat of an entity that can literally defy the laws of physics chasing after you. And lastly, this new map definitely reminds us of that Slender/Amnesia style horror, and because of this, we're wondering what would scare us more, Slender or the nun? We don't really think Slender was that scary. Anyway, one new thing we actually weren't anticipating was the addition of new nuns into the game. Now from the trailer, it just seems like each one of these new characters is a reskin of the original, but we haven't played it yet, so we can't really say anything definitive. And if there wasn't enough to look forward to, hopefully the plot surrounding the overarching narrative that the game is trying to set up will be more elucidated and eventually come to a close, if it is trying to build up a coherent plot. And to reiterate, since Mrs. McDonald's story was mysterious and opaque enough, we're really hoping for a resolution to that particular storyline, but if we don't get one, we hope what we get is just as good. All in all, we both hope and think this is gonna be a really fun, scary, and action-packed game, and we can't wait to make videos about it. These will probably include an addition to the Sus series and some sort of organized essay on the topic of things we like about it. Thanks for watching.